Welcome everyone for the Job Connect Cafe. We are very happy to have you here today. My name is Victoria Manzar. I work for the Mennonite New Life Center Toronto, and I will be hosting this event today. We have several presentations prepared, employers present, so it's getting really exciting. We also would like to make sure that this session is interactive. You can ask questions, you can really engage with our presenters. So that's why I will really keep an eye on the clock and make sure that we can go through with all the content we prepared for. So you can see on this slide that we have a sponsor here, Kitty Mai. I am checking if I wanted to share their website with you. They are a family enterprise who create amazing tea and coffee experiences. And actually, they are also immigrants. They arrived from Kenya, and in the 70s, they opened their tea and coffee enterprise in Toronto. Unfortunately, due to a family emergency, they cannot be present today, but they promise that they are going to send us a short video about their business, and we will send it out to you. Everyone who is registered, we have your email addresses, so we will be sending the video to you, don't worry. But first of all, I would like to begin this meeting with a territorial acknowledgement. Why do we take the time to do this? It is a way of honoring the land on which our successes have been built and Indigenous people who have been living and caring for this land for thousands of years. As well, it is a long-standing protocol among Indigenous peoples that honors their spiritual connection to the land. So here comes. We acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty, signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. And now I would like to introduce the agenda today. Our first presenter is going to be the representative of Toronto Transit Commission, TTC. I'm sure that most of you have heard about this. The second program is about entrepreneurship as pathway to self-employment. The third presenters are actually three different home care providers, introducing you their employment options. Then job search tips and mock interview do's and don'ts through one of our MNLCT colleagues. The last employer of the day is RBC, the Royal Bank of Canada, who is going to introduce their current opportunities, and you can also ask questions, of course. And last but not least, we are going to talk about bridging programs. One of our colleagues is going to explain what a bridging program is, what are the different types we are offering at MNLCT, and we will answer all of your questions. Talking about the questions, at the end of each section, we make sure that we leave room for questions. You can use the chat, you can use the Q&A, you can raise your hand in Zoom, and we will make sure that you can ask your questions. So then we can get started. I would like to introduce our first presenter of the day, Karin Fieder from TTC. Karin Fieder is part of the Diversity and Culture Group at TTC, working to ensure that their new hires are reflective on the communities they serve and transport across Toronto. Karin works internally with talent management and the hiring managers to identify the TTC careers and then connect the people who have the right qualification, skills, and experience to accessing secure, sustainable opportunities with TTC. Karin has worked in various sectors education, training, legal, and now the public sector. What Karin enjoys most is the opportunity to connect with various communities and support them succeed. So I would like to give the word to Karin. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Victoria. Really excited about this opportunity this afternoon. So welcome, everyone. And with that, we'll begin. All right. So we're the Toronto Transit Commission, the TTC, and we have several modes of transportation: bus, subway, streetcar, I'm going to switch, Wheel-Trans, and the soon to be coming light rail transit system. So, and I'm really excited about this opportunity to share with you. You know, as part of the diversity and culture group, our commitment is to making sure that our new employees represent the city of Toronto. And so there's a shift in TTC to make sure that we're reflective of Toronto and the GTA. And we want to make sure that we have qualified folks from all communities. And so we have committed to 4 out of 10 hires to be women. So for every 10 people that we hire, we want 4 of them to be women. And so today I'm excited to share that we have a special initiative for women. And that doesn't mean that we're excluding men. What has happened is that we did a recruitment for the transit operator, which is our biggest recruitment, and we had great representation from men. However, we didn't have as many from the women, and so we're really trying to make sure that we keep to that commitment of 4 out of every 10 hires being women. And so we're running a special program at this time and really encouraging women to apply for this position. We're the top employer in the GTA and in the sector. We're the 3rd largest transit system in North America. And as the top employer, we offer full-time permanent positions. We actually don't do part-time positions at TTC. And the starting salary is at $27.69. So that's about $55,000 to start. And that doesn't include overtime. And so what happens is over the course of 2 years, you'll get an increase in salary, maxing out at $36. So that's about $65,000 within 2 years, right? That doesn't include your benefits. After 3 months at TTC, full-time employment, you have access to benefits for you and your family. And then after 6 months, you're able to pay into your pension. So, you know, there's opportunity here. Our salaries are competitive because we are in a unionized environment, but not all of our positions are unionized. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on in the presentation. For this role, we're looking for customer service experience, and we're looking at it very, very broadly. You know, sometimes if parents have volunteered in their children's school, we consider that customer service experience too. So it's your volunteer experience, your work experience, any experience that you may bring to an opportunity at TTC. We're also looking for a high school diploma or equivalent. So if you're coming from an international destination, we need to have your credentials assessed for Canadian equivalency. And then, of course, a valid license, a valid G license, because you will be operating a vehicle. Most of our hires are in bus transportation because of all the routes that we have. But that doesn't mean that you're going to start there. Availability is based on our collective agreement. And so wherever there is a need in the different mode of transportation, that's where you will start. We also have a lot of apprenticeships at TTC. Some of the apprenticeships that we have right now are electrician wiring, sorry, that's a mistake, electrician wiring and service. We have an overhead lines person, and we also have the skill trades. So folks who are, you know, skilled professionals, and those positions range from senior construction inspector, 4-person rail vehicles, general maintenance carpenter, HVAC mechanic, and garage foreperson. You can find all the details at ttc.ca, along with the skills, experience, and job descriptions related to these positions. Because I expected that there may be some parents here, we're reposting this position. This is a summer position for students who are returning to school, who are full-time in the school now, returning to school in the fall. And so this is for college or university students. These positions start May 2nd, and they go all the way till August 27th for this year. We have a maintenance position, which includes office and building janitor or grounds maintainer, so any kind of landscaping on our properties. And then we have, and this maintenance position does not require a G license. However, we do have positions that require a G license, and that includes car house operator, service person, and revenue collector. So we don't have enough folks in this for these roles for the summer. We are looking to hire students for the summer. It's a full-time position. They will be at different locations, different hours, based on the location and the work that they're doing. And the salary ranges from $17 an hour to $21 an hour. And they also have access to a full-time travel pass from TTC. And it's a great opportunity for students to get in. You're entitled to continue in this role for 3 summers. And so here's an opportunity for students to try something different, get paid well, while they can save up for college, for university, for trade school, and with the potential of returning the next summer. Along with all these positions, we also have professional, administrative, and technical jobs. Some of the opportunities right now are project scheduler, manager transportation engineering, manager planning and scheduling. We've got administrative jobs, which include an administrative coordinator and a procurement and contract specialist. In the technical roles, we're looking for senior solutions architect and system planner. Again, this is just to give you an idea of some of the roles that we have available at this time. So for, most of these positions require some sense of customer service, grade 12 secondary diploma, and a mandatory vaccination. What that means is that you need to be fully vaxxed, 2 doses, and you need to show proof of vaccination 14 days before you start your employment at TTC. This includes the summer positions. To learn more about these opportunities at TTC, visit ttc.ca for the information. I've just broadly gone over the positions. I wanted to make sure that there's opportunity to ask questions about the roles, sorry. And so I thought, and each of the job postings will provide you with the details of the posting, right? So it's your turn now to ask me questions. Oh, sorry, I forgot about this slide. Some of the benefits at TTC, and the reason why people stay at TTC throughout their career is because of the benefits that we have. There's job security in terms of, our service is needed. We reduced our service over the last 2 years due to the shutdowns and the COVID-19 restrictions, but we didn't stop our service. And so that job security is really important to families. We've got a pension program that we have access to 6 months after full-time employment. We have a competitive salary and a wage progression, right? So every year there's an opportunity to increase your wages, and a comprehensive benefits plan. Some of the benefits include access to dental, medical, eyeglasses. We have a comprehensive health plan, which includes chiropractic, massage, and physiotherapy. And not only are these benefits for you, but it's also for your family. We have in-house employee development, which includes one-on-one training, classroom training, or online training. And there's also a tuition aid program, which supports your professional development. So outside of the training that you get at TTC for the role, there's opportunity for you to increase your knowledge, take various courses, and this is supporting your professional development. All of us at TTC have access to Employee Transit Pass, which we can use through any time as long as we're employed by TTC. Right. And so please, this is my last slide now, and I'm going to pass the mic over to you. I saw something in the chat, but I didn't get to read it quickly. So I'm ready. I am ready for your questions.
Yeah, I thank you, Karin, for the presentation. I can read out the question. I am searching on TTC website, but can't see the job positions and details. I want to read details, tasks, responsibilities. Can you please help me with that?
Okay, so if you go to ttc.ca, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a black banner and there's jobs, right? So that'll take you to our career portal. And then it says, I think it's current opportunities. You click on that and that'll show you. I think there are, when last I looked, I think there are 29 positions active right now.
Okay, there is another question in the chat. I applied for general labor, but I have heard from TTC. I guess it's haven't heard.
Haven't heard, okay. And so general labor position, could the person maybe identify when? And while I'm waiting for that part of the question, when we post a position, we get anywhere from 4,000 applications. We screen them, like we don't use, human beings are screening for the positions. And so sometimes, it takes some time to go through the positions. In terms of if it was a general labor, I don't recall when that was posted, but the best thing to do is to check your email, because that's how we communicate with folks, right? It's via email. If you've been selected, then they will notify you, our team will notify you of the opportunity, right? Sometimes it takes longer, just because of the volume of the work that we have, right? And the work, I mean, by the applications that we receive and then screening them for suitability, and then passing them on. So we screen them first. If there's a particular criteria that we're looking for, that'll be identified readily. We shortlist folks, and then we send it to the hiring managers. The hiring managers then determine from the list that we've compiled who are the most suitable. So that list generally is then finalized and reduced in size, and then we select folks for interviews, right? The communication is all done via email. So if at this point you haven't heard, and I don't recall when the general labor position, I know it was recently, but I don't recall. So hopefully the person can tell me, the time frame.
Karin, we are getting so many more questions and we have 3 minutes left. So
Okay.
I will just I will just try to read them out, and maybe we can answer the most common questions.
Okay.
So one second. Someone is asking for your email address. Someone is asking when the fair inspector going to be advertised. Somebody's
the fair inspectors, the fair inspectors and the special constables, they're not posted as yet. I am going to send Victoria a document, and that has all it's really connected to the presentation. So I'll send that information to Victoria. In terms of, I saw something about volunteer positions. We do look for clerical positions from time to time. So if there is somebody who's interested, connect with Victoria. Victoria can connect with me directly. That's a good way. We are looking, I know this, if somebody has these skills, we are looking for somebody to digitize our paper documents. So for I work, in talent management, and we've got all these notes, and so we need them digitized. So we are looking for somebody for that position. It's a volunteer position. So if anybody's interested in that, maybe connect with Victoria, and then Victoria can connect with me.
Yes.
Any questions? Any other questions?
Well, there are many, many more. So my idea is that me and my colleagues will collect the questions. We will pass them to you. And with your answers, we will send it out to all the registered participants. I think that makes the most sense because unfortunately, we cannot answer every single question live.
Absolutely.
So we will collect the questions, and with your answers after hopefully beginning of next week, we will be able to send it to all participants.
Okay. And I saw something about community organization sessions with community organizations. Absolutely. I'm going to be sending out some information about sessions next week. Those are specifically for transit operator roles, but we do talk about other roles like fare inspectors. And so, and that in that time we have a little bit more time. So I want to be mindful that there are other panelists and respectful of time. So I will share that information right away with Victoria, including links to attend some follow-up sessions.
Thank you so much, Karin. Thank you so much for the very informative presentation and answering the questions. So we can move on for the next session, and we will make sure that all the questions posted today will be answered by you and posted to the participants. Thank you so much, Karin.
No, thank you for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity, and I will send the email with information right away.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
So we are moving to the next session. Our next session will be about entrepreneurship. But before we start, I would like to introduce our presenter, Bookie Adekanye. Bookie's passion is helping immigrants and newcomers like her to integrate better into their new country so they can actualize their dreams. Her expertise and interests are in helping business owners find the right resources, support, and information to grow their businesses. This has inspired her to launch SME Biz Info, an information blog for small businesses. Since arriving in Canada in 2019, she has worked extensively in the startup scale and currently works as an entrepreneurship facilitator at the Mennonite New Life Center. Bookie is a published author and a culture lover. In her spare time, she loves to write, visit new places, and volunteer within her community. So, Bookie, I cannot see you for some reason.
I'm right here, Victoria.
Oh, now I can, yes, now I can see you. Hi, Bookie. Thank you so much for being here. So Bookie is our employment and entrepreneur facilitator at MNLCT, and I will just give you the stage and listen to what you have to say.
Okay, thank you so much, Victoria, for inviting me and for the introduction. And hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here to listen to me for the next couple of minutes. Like Victoria said, I am an employment and entrepreneurship facilitator, and I work on the HOPES program at the Mennonite New Life Center. And again, I have just a couple of minutes, so I would like to be very brief with my presentation. And what I'm here to do today is to open your eyes to a possible option for employment that a lot of newcomers to Canada really do not consider. And that is entrepreneurship. And before I get into it, I just really wanted to share some information or facts about entrepreneurship as it relates to immigrants that you might already know or might not know. And the first of it is that 40% of Canadian businesses are actually built by immigrants. I'm sorry, I think there's an error there. So 40% of Canadian businesses are built by immigrants. And again, very recent studies show that immigrant businesses are likely to succeed, to be more successful, and also hire more people, create more jobs, and in that way contribute towards the Canadian economy. And so it's no brainer because immigrants already have what it takes to succeed as entrepreneur. That might be a little generic, but I'm talking from the point of view of immigrants having similar traits as you will find in an entrepreneur. And again, these traits are, audacity, resilience. It takes a whole lot to leave your country and to, years of experience, the networks, the relationship, decades of hard work in some cases, and you leave all of that behind to come start over in a new country. Again, those are some traits that you will find in an entrepreneur. The other part of it is, a different perspective when you come newly to a place and you're able to see things differently just because you have other experiences outside of your new location. And so that helps you to start to think outside the box. You're able to identify some gaps in the system, and you're able to provide solutions to them that Canadian-born, people ordinarily might not be able to identify. And so that already sets you for success as an entrepreneur. And then you're able to convert these experiences to enterprises. And on the next slide, there's this very inspiring story of an immigrant success story that I would like to share. So this is Martin Basiri, who arrived in Canada in 2010 as a student trying to study here in Canada. And the process for him was quite difficult. He had a whole lot of challenges just, coming over to Canada to study. And then that inspired him to think about the fact that a whole lot of other students who want to come to Canada probably have the same challenges as he had to face. And so in 2015, he launched Apply Board, which is a company that he founded with his brothers, and now currently has the biggest, the world's largest platform for international student recruitment, and has been named as Canada's fastest growing tech company, like 3 times consecutively, and is also ranked number 7 on the Fast 50 list, which is a list of businesses that are making great impact around the world. And I also like the story of Kitty Mai that was shared earlier by Victoria. They are one of our sponsors for this program, and they are immigrants like a lot of us who are on this call, and they have built a business that has lasted well over 30 or 40 years. And so again, that shows you the resilience and the trajectory that an immigrant has potential to take in terms of building and growing a business in Canada. And then, in the light of all of this positive and all these success stories about immigrant business, you might start to wonder, so why are more immigrants not trying to start their own business? And again, that is quite obvious. As an immigrant, you're likely to face challenges in business that a Canadian-born or someone who's lived in Canada most of their lives would not face. Top on the list, I would say, is cultural and language barrier. Again, there are a whole lot of competing priorities for you when you come in newly and you're trying to settle down. You're at that point looking for stability for your family. You're, trying to find a job, and maybe you want to go back to school. And so that risk of starting a business might not be appealing immediately for you as a newcomer. And again, just because you're new, you don't have a lot of credit history, so it becomes quite difficult to be able to access the funds you need to start your business. And you also don't have a lot of networks, so you don't have a lot of access to market. And some newcomers just are not sure what business to do in Canada. Even if they've been business owners in their country, it's a totally new terrain for them, and so they're just not sure what to do or how to start. And for some, it's just a question of not having previous experience as an entrepreneur. And again, you don't have the right network, you don't have the right support, and you don't have the resources to launch and run a business in Canada. Next slide, please. Okay, so And that's why we are here. And I'm here to introduce you to the Excel program, which is short for Entrepreneurial Excellence and Leadership Program. This program is funded by IRCC. They're one of our funders, and also United Ways under the HOPES program. The HOPES program is HOPES is an acronym for Helping our Newcomers Prepare for Employment and Entrepreneurial Success. And the Excel program is it's a complete learning experience that gives participants, intending entrepreneurs and business owners who are new to Canada or immigrants in Canada, the resources, the guidance, the support, the connections they need to be able to start and run their business. And this program is divided into 4 parts. And the first part of it is the launch part, which is an exploratory workshop that provides you with the tools and assessment to be able to answer the question about if entrepreneurship really is for you. And again, we don't assume everybody who goes through that program is going to end up being an entrepreneur or that they're ready to actually start out their business immediately. So you're welcome to attend this program, take the assessment, and then decide if this is what you want to do, or you just think that other options for employment might be better for you at this time. And if you decide to continue and you've been able to answer the question for yourself to say, yes, I have this brilliant idea that I would like to run with, we provide you with workshops which centers around the core aspects of your business, which include sales and marketing, financials, and general business planning. And very, very importantly, we also provide you access to community resources. We partner with a lot of organizations within the business ecosystem here in Ontario to help you to access the right resources. One of our partners, for example, is the Access Community Capital Fund. And so they help you to overcome that hurdle of not being able to access funding just because you don't have the credit history. So with or without any credit history, you're able to access your first line of credit in Canada. And we also have partnership with organizations like Enterprise Journal, Small Business Center Ontario, who provide you with the resources, information, additional programming if you think, if you decide to opt for that as a newcomer business owner in Canada. And last but not least, we provide coaching, which we find very important, and this comes in form of peer mentoring as well as group support to give you some hand-holding to help you work with a coach who is going to provide that one-to-one support, help drill down to specific areas of your business where you might be needing help, help you with goal setting, help you to create milestones, and provide that support and resource that you need to be able to run your business, because we all know that entrepreneurship is a very lonely path. And so we're here to give you all that support if you decide to come on board this program. And so just because we don't have a lot of time, if you want to learn more about the Excel program, you can contact us. You can send an email to Ines Anderson, who is the program coordinator, and you have our email address displayed on the screen. And you could also send me an email. My email address is badekanye@mnlct.org. And I'm just going to pause right now to take questions from the audience if you have any. Thank you. Thanks for your time and thanks for listening.
Thanks a lot, Bookie, for the presentation. These are really, really cool opportunities. I am just trying to see in the chat if there are any questions regarding to the session. Can we take EXL program if we are on a work permit, is the question, Bookie.
So yes, so long as you have, you're legally in Canada, you're in Canada legally, you're able to take the Excel program. We have 2 funders, some are most, the IRCC is stricter on the criteria, but for the United Ways, they are open to supporting people who are in Canada legally. So if you're able to show us your legal documents, then you're welcome to apply to the program.
Thank you. Can we get any grant for starting the business? Is one of the questions.
Okay, so the Excel program, we do not necessarily provide grants, but again, we have partners, especially, I think that we work more with partners that are able to provide micro fund lending at this point. And however, we're open to exploring, we take this case by case. So if we think when you work with your coach and they're able to access the need of your business, that you're able to also explore and see what opportunities are available for you.
Thank you, Bookie. There are a few more questions in the chat, but I think we can again collect the questions, ask you, Bookie, to answer them in the background, and we will then share the answers with the participants so we can keep the time and move to the next session. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you too, Victoria. I'll be happy to answer questions subsequently.
Great, thank you so much. So I am moving the screen to for the next session. So I would like to ask our next presenters to switch their cameras on. We are going to continue with home care providers, and we have 3 here. One of our guest is Jane Teasdale from Mosaic Home Care, Susan Parker from Comfort Keepers, and Julia Summers from Qualicare. And I would like to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves.
I'll start first, I guess. I can't see myself, so I don't know what I look like. I'm wearing a mask today, but I'm Jane Teasdale, and I'm one of the owners of Mosaic. So I've been in the industry, I guess, for almost 25 years now, and have started home care. We've been in business for about 11 years. You know, a different model dealing with the whole person and person-centered care. We're also internationally recognized and focus on the community as well. So I'll pass you over to one of my other colleagues.
Hi, I guess working from left to right on our pictures, I'll go next. So my name is Susan Parker, and I'm the Director of Client Services at Comfort Keepers. We are a private home care agency with multiple locations in and around the GTA, and we've been in business for over 20 years. And we employ PSWs, companions, and housekeepers. And their goal is to provide loving, personalized assistance to assist seniors to stay in their homes for as long as possible, which is where they really want to be.
And I'm Julia Summers, also an RN, and I work with Qualicare Home Care, which is we have locations across the GTA, across Canada, in the US as well. And my title is Director of Care, and I currently am Director of Care for the whole network, as well as running the North York location. So we employ PSWs and caregivers. Foreign trained nurses are some of our favorite people. And we also give you the opportunity to spend one-on-one time with individuals in their home.
So I guess we're going to break up the presentation today. So I'm going to start it with, you know, the community practice settings. And our agencies certainly provide a person-centered, holistic model of care. And what we mean about that is training our personal support workers to have meaningful conversation. And it's not just about a medical lens model or going into the home or going into the apartment, retirement home, or long-term care, hospital. It's working with that individual on their interests and hobbies and intrinsic capacities to keep them at home for as long as possible, wherever home may be. Some of the home care agencies do provide care in retirement homes and long-term care. Sometimes they do staffing. Sometimes there's personal support workers doing that, or RPNs. Again, this varies on the different home care agencies. And we will get into sort of, I guess, the times of working, that it's very flexible. So I know Julia will touch on that in a little bit of time, but it's really wherever home can be and keeping that person as safe as possible at home. and learning about the person, and also the individuals that our agencies hire. It's learning about our personal support workers as well. What are their interests and hobbies? What do they like to do? So we're trying to do a perfect match of caregiver to client. Next slide, please. And the scope of practice in home care setting. So it definitely varies on the type of situations that we receive. Sometimes it could just be for light housekeeping or laundry or grocery shopping. Some of our agencies provide lifestyle companions, so not so much the medical model, but maybe help with cooking or conversation. We can accompany to appointments, running errands, light housekeeping, meal preparation, and also connection to the community as well. So maybe we're dealing with somebody who's at home. Maybe they have, you know, it could be slightly Alzheimer's, dementia, or some other medical issue, but they still want to be, connected to the community. Maybe they want to go to a social program, but they can't get there themselves. So maybe they need somebody to go into the taxi with them. Maybe they would just like to go for a walk, maybe sit in a nice park, maybe somebody reading to them. So these are all the things that, you know, some of our agencies look for. We are family funded, and what we mean by family funded is that the families pay for the services. So it does work a little bit differently from those working in long-term care, those working with community agencies or government agencies. So we run a little bit differently. When we're working with a client, we're finding out about the family. We're also finding out about the individual that we're going to be providing care for, because we need to work out a care plan. So we're able to communicate that to our personal support worker before they're going in. We also like to let them know about you as a person, about the client as a person. So the interests and hobbies and goals, likes and dislikes, all that is important, as well as obviously the medical needs as well. Ways of getting to know your client, that takes a little bit of time in that relationship building. So definitely the client services and those individuals that are doing the introductions, that, you know, they really help the personal support workers. And if they're needing some sort of help, our client services divisions within our home care agencies can certainly help out. And each client is unique. You know, so we could be dealing with somebody who just needs a little bit of help, companionship, or conversation, to very, very complex cases that we're dealing with. So, you know, we are reputable organizations on this call that are providing that. So again, lots of things like running errands, going to birthday parties. Perhaps somebody belongs to a club, so maybe the caregiver has to go with that individual. And, you know, again, each assignment is different. So, you know, when we're doing the hiring, we're sort of looking, you know, what your expertise is, what kind of programs you've done. Have you done any volunteering? What are your hours? What is your availability? Will you work on the weekends? So there's lots of things to consider, you know, when we're hiring, because we really have to look after the individual and provide the right care for that person living in the community. So thank you. And I'm going to pass you on to Julia now from Qualicare. So thank you very much.
Hi, so I'm going to talk about advantages to working in the community. And I noticed one of the questions was, do you have to have certification? What we look for more so than certification, not to say that that's not needed as well, but is experience. If you have experience, if you were a nurse where you came from and you want to use some of that knowledge to take care of people here, or you're working towards getting your nursing here in Ontario, we can help you with that as well by giving you hours, and that helps you in your quest to become a registered nurse in Ontario. We do work in the community, allows for a lot more flexible scheduling and hours. Some of our best caregivers are those that are parents of younger children and they can only work between 9 and 3 because those are the hours that their kids are in school. And we have hours like that. And so it's very flexible in terms of that. We have night shifts, we have day shifts, we have weekend shifts. So depending on what your needs are, what your availability is, we can fit you into our schedule with the clients because they have all sorts of different needs. And as we said, also there's a variety of shift lengths. We do have with Qualicare, and I do believe with Comfort Keepers and Mosaic, a minimum of 4-hour shifts because we need you to get to a client and really get to know them. And 1-hour shifts, you don't get to know them as well as if you're doing the full 4-hour shifts. So minimum 4 hours and anywhere up to 12 hours. And occasionally we do need live-in shifts as well. If that's something that you're interested in doing, then it's really important that you put that at the top of your resume and make sure that we know all of that because those are few and far between. And as I said, a variety of assignment settings. So sometimes you may be in a person's individual home. Sometimes you may be assisting them in a retirement home, or you could be beside them with them in a long-term care facility. There's any number of places wherever that person calls home. And as I said, we do from 4 hours once a week to 24 hours, 7 days a week, and everything in between. You're taking care of that person, you're building a one-on-one relationship with them and really getting to know them. And some of the best comments we hear from our staff are when they're talking about how much they enjoy the interaction that they have with their individual clients that they take care of. And there's a variety of duties. I will say a lot of times cooking is involved. So if you don't know how to cook, it sometimes might be a challenge, but we can find other clients that you're not going to be doing cooking for if you're interested in working with us. You do become a very valued member of the care team. And sometimes a lot of times you're the only one that's in there seeing what's going on with the client on a day-to-day basis. So we really value your input and your thoughts and what you feel is best for the client based on your knowledge of them. We work very carefully with you to ensure that the client is always safe and that they're as happy as they can be. And you will be working independently because you're in the client's home one-on-one, but you're never alone. We're only a phone call away. We have different kinds of shifts, but even the night shifts, there's somebody on call 24/7. So if you run into an issue overnight, you can contact the offices and find out what's going on with that. And I see there was a bunch of questions that came up in the chat room while I was talking, but I can't answer any of them because I was too busy talking with two.
It's a team effort.
Here you go. So if we can move to the next slide, it's Susan's turn.
Welcome, everyone. So I just wanted to go over a typical day in the life of a community PSW when you're working with one of our agencies. So you would start off your day with reviewing your client's care plan, and that's done online to be convenient, and looking for any updates or changes because the individual clients, we are constantly keeping abreast of any adjustments to their needs. So you arrive at your client's home at about 9:45 for a 10 o'clock start. And Maggie, your client, greets you at the door and she's using her walker and she's been looking forward to seeing you all morning. So when you arrive, you use an app on your phone to clock in your start time. And that app is conveniently linked to your payroll system. And that decreases any errors or any conflicts that says you arrived before or after when you actually did. So you're talking to Maggie, and as a team, you and Maggie decide what the priorities are for the day and what she would like to do first. And that might change every day. Maggie states that she would like to have some help making a recipe that she used to love to make all the time, but she just can't stand that long anymore. She has to sit, she doesn't have the strength to make that recipe all on her own from beginning to end. So you and Maggie work together to create this wonderful meal. You encourage Maggie to do as much of the pieces of the recipe that she's able to do. And Maggie is so proud of herself that she managed to, with your help, make this wonderful recipe that she hasn't had in years. So while that dish is in the oven cooking, you set Maggie up with a cup of tea on her balcony, and she's happy to get a little bit of sunlight and fresh air. And you run in and do a little bit of a quick tidy of the apartment and the kitchen. Then you come back in for lunch, and the two of you share that meal that you made together. And Maggie tells you this wonderful story about why this dish is so important to her and what it means to her and her family. And then Maggie says that she prefers to have a shower and a nap in the afternoon. So you didn't come in the morning and just assume that she wanted a morning shower. You had that conversation with her. She likes to have a shower and then her nap in the afternoon. And you assist with this. And then you put on the classical music station she likes to have in the background. And she decides to have a little nap. You go back to work around the apartment. You tidy up that kitchen that you enjoyed making a mess in with Maggie, and tidy up the bathroom a little bit from the shower. And before you know it, it's 3 o'clock, and you say goodbye to Maggie. You clock out on that same app and you head home, and you know what you're going to be making for dinner tonight for your family.
Yes, thank you so much for all of you. So being mindful of the time, I would like to ask you to please answer the questions in the chat. You just make sure that the answers go to everyone, because we have to move on with the next session. But thank you so much. It has been really, really enjoyable.
Thank you.
So moving to the next session, I would like to welcome our also MNLCT colleague, Ruth Javier. Ruth is a career development professional with experience in providing employment advice, settlement assistance, and facilitating connections to services and organizations. She is passionate and dedicated to working with people, especially newcomers, and assisting with their professional development journey. So, Ruth, I cannot see you. I hope you are there, because maybe
right
it's
here, Victoria.
Oh, great. Now you are. I can also see you. So I will go in your presentation, and the stage is all yours.
Of course. Thank you so much for the introduction, Victoria. Well, everyone, that last video left me I'm really happy, and thank you very much for the presenter. Part today at this moment is job search tips and mock interview do's and don'ts. And we've heard from employers. So now, if you're ready to apply for jobs, what are some of the things you need to have in mind to be successful in your job search? Number one, you know what? Get clear on what you want. So before starting your job search or applying for any job, know yourself and your skills and what you want to do in the job. What's the most important thing to you? What works for you? What's the location? What's the company culture? So get clear on what you want, even with job titles. So get that clear for yourself before searching for a job. Tip number 2 is research your company. So research your company on Indeed. I love going to Glassdoor, and I love going to the company's website. There you can have an insight in what the company culture is, and figure out some questions you might want to ask the employer from the company's website. Tip number 3 is tailor your resume to each job. Make yourself an obvious fit. And the best way to do it is if you want to apply for one of the jobs, maybe from the presenters or any jobs you have in mind, is that going to that job description and finding the words or phrases used in the job description. Make sure you use them on your resume so you can be, again, what I said before, an obvious fit. Next will be create your online career brand. And I would like to stress career brand, and it's because we are in an online platform most of the time, and the best way for the recruiter or the employer to find you is online. And the best way to do it is having a LinkedIn. We recommend to have a LinkedIn profile that will showcase your experience, show your career. Trust me, every employer, maybe after the interview, they will go there and find out who's that person, who's Ruth Javier. I don't know her, so let me find out what's her role, what's her experience. Next is build and cultivate your network. I personally believe that there is power in human connection. And one of the first steps in getting to where you want to be is connecting with people who are already there. So don't be afraid to reach out to people on LinkedIn, or reach out to someone that is working at a company that interests you. Ask them for referral, ask them any questions you want, because they can help you get that job that you really want. So remember to build your network and use them and reach out to them in terms of getting information of your dream job. The next one in our slide here is be kind to yourself. And I would like to stress that, be kind to yourself. Job search is a unique journey for everyone. And it can, at some extent, it can be stressful, discouraging. You can experience self-doubt. So be kind to yourself and remember to trust the process. Sometimes you will get delays, or you will not be chosen for the particular job you applied for. But remember, it's a process, and to be kind to yourself and maybe pausing sometimes to refresh your mind, refresh your perspective in order to keep going with a great perspective in mind. The next one is develop examples and stories that showcase your skills for any jobs. For everyone that is listening today, like for any job, you need to develop examples and stories that you can tell the employer. You can back up every question with a little bit of story that will reinforce that skill that you would like to showcase to the employer. Next is prepare for all jobs interviews. There is not such a thing of being over prepared. So prepare for every job interview, develop responses for common interview questions, which we will talk a little bit more in the next slide. And ideally use mock interview technique. It can be with a friend, with your partner, whoever you can get to practice job interviews with. I sometimes practice in front of a mirror so I can see my reaction, my facial expression, and I also try to project that confidence so the employer can perceive that from myself. So prepare for all job interviews. So the more prepared you are for the interview, the more comfortable you will be in answering common job interview questions. So feel free to screenshot this one and have this handy and review every point that we have mentioned today. For the next slide, I have the most common interview question. Tell me about yourself. That can cut us off guard, because tell me about yourself can be about, tell me about anything. Who are you? Now, the reality is, what does the employer mean when they ask that question? Because it's an unstructured question, and the interviewer wants to hear how you answer it. Tell me about yourself can really set the tone for the entire interview. The real meaning of tell me about yourself is, we can say, why should I hire you? What is your background as it relates to what you applied for? Describe your related education when you are answering that question. One of the best ways I found on answering the tell me about yourself question is reviewing the job description. So when you read the job description, you can highlight the most required skills from that job description. Are they looking for someone that is highly empathetic or highly patient? So find those keywords there to be able to answer the question, tell me about yourself, so you can showcase your skill right at the beginning of the interview. So pick a few key skills from the job description and brainstorm how you can describe yourself while showcasing your strength for what they're looking for. So remember, tell me about yourself is not about telling people, okay, this is me, I am Ruth, I am married, I'm from whatever country. No, the employer really want to find out what are the skills that you bring into the job and why they should hire you. What are your technical skills and personal attributes that are needed for the position? On the next skills, prepare your question for the end of this, and I hope I can make it on time. So the next question, the dreadful question for most of us, are behavioral questions. How to answer them? Employer want to hear, they ask behavioral questions such as, tell me about yourself, tell me about a situation where you handled a difficult situation, or describe a time where you solved a problem, or describe a time where you used patience, empathy, depending on the job that you're looking for. So the employer asks that question because they want to hear how you behaved in the past. That is the best predictor of how you're going to behave in the future. So when they ask you that question, you need to be very specific and have a structured story for them. And the best way to do it is with this magic formula. I would like to call it a magic formula. STAR. First, describe the situation. What was the situation that you were at the moment? I was doing my job. What were you doing at the moment? What was the task in this situation that led to the action you took to solve the problem? And then what was the result? The best way to answer it is really having that structure in your answer, and really have, again, going back to my point at the beginning, having clear stories on how you can showcase the way you solve problems to be able to answer behavioral questions. So have in mind situation, describe it. What was your task in this situation? Remember, the interview is about you. What was your role in solving the situation that led to a success and to a positive result? Remember, action, situation, task, action, and result. So then on the next slide, I have job interviews, do's and don'ts. And again, I hope you had a chance to really take notes maybe on how to answer the tell me about yourself and job interview question, and really prepare for, because those questions for sure will come up during the interview. So some interviews do's and don'ts, and I have them here listed for you. First of all, pandemic has taught us so many valuable lessons. And in the virtual setting, things can happen. My camera wouldn't work one day, or I lost the link. So here we go with some interview do's that will help you go through the job interview successfully. Number one, know the exact time and location of your interview. Pin your Zoom link. Know if it's on Teams. Maybe you need to download Teams. Where is the interview? What is the platform that the interviewer will be using? And remember to start working on this platform on time. Pin the Zoom link somewhere, and I will say it again, pin the Zoom link somewhere, because sometimes when you don't have any more time, you are going to swim in your emails, Zoom link for a particular interview. Sometimes you will not find it. The best way is to pin it somewhere or copy and paste it in our document where you can access it quickly. The next is test your device. Test your camera. Call a friend and ask them for support in testing your camera and microphone and making sure they work properly and they are ready for the job interview. Dress appropriately. We are at home and it could be very easy to just feel too comfortable at home. But for any job interview, dress appropriately, at least the part that you will be showing to the interviewer, and be tidy in your manners and the clothes that you're wearing at the moment for the interview. Next is sit still, avoid fidgeting. For some of us can be very difficult. In one interview once, I saw someone doing this because it was something they were really used to do and it showed during the interview. So be aware of fidgeting and really show that calmness and confidence when you are being interviewed. Next is remember to respond and back up your statement with examples whenever possible. Tell me about a time where you solved a problem, then come up with example. For example, I was working with a certain client that showed this, describe the behavior of the client and how your approach helps solve the situation or help calm the client or solve the problem for the client. So come up with the backup statement to answer every question. Next is have questions prepared for the employers. And that will show your listening skills during the interview. I love taking notes, but again, if you can take mental notes for when the interviewer is explaining maybe the role or the company, if you have any question at the end of the interview, going back to what the employer said will showcase a great listening skills. With you mentioned about so-and-so, I would like to hear more about that if you're really interested in hearing that from the employer. One of the questions I like to ask at the end of the interview is, just for my personal note, is when is the employer planning to fill up the role? And I would like, and I love to ask the employer, so when are you expecting to email back to the applicants? So I can also have my notes and then follow up 2 or 3 days after. And then the next point is, after the interview, write a thank you note, write a thank you letter promptly, as soon as you can, I would like to say. Some people would like to wait for 2 hours, a few hours, or maximum the next day in case of emergency. But as soon as you can, write an interview letter, thank you letter, thanking them for their time, and again, emphasizing about your interest on the position. Those are the do's. And now comes the don'ts. Don't allow your phone to sound during the interview. The next is don't be late. Even in the online platform, sometimes things can happen, and that's why the preparation time is key for you to be on time during the interview. Don't be unprepared to answer typical interview questions. Always go back to the tell me about yourself question, and any kind of behavioral question you can come up with. Prepare yourself, prepare your stories. People love stories, and it gives us a sense of what you did there. You take us right back with you in the situation. So prepare those stories for your interviewer. Don't ask about salary unless the subject is brought up to you. And that's why you're going to research that and to know the salary range in order to answer some of the questions that can come up from the employer. Also, don't make negative comments about past employers. You can talk about your own experience, how you solve problem. However, negative comment is not a good sign of emotional intelligence or how you solve a problem the best way possible. And last but not least, don't forget to smile. A smile says a lot about you and project confidence, and also it can calm your brain to be present with the employer, to be able to answer every one of the questions the with the best of your ability. And finally, remember, be honest, be confident, and be yourself, and you will make it through. I wish you all the best, everyone, during your interview. Back to you, Victoria.
Thank you so much, Ruth. I got the feeling that you could talk hours more. But I think for now we are very good prepared for our upcoming interviews. So I also would like to ask the participants to please keep asking questions from Ruth in the chat, as we have to start with our next session, as our next employer is already waiting for his turn. And he is Francois Desrosiers, a branch manager at RBC. So I would like to introduce him. Francois has been working for 16 years with RBC, so he has done pretty much everything. He joined in 2005, October, and he was investment representative, branch compliance officer, manager of client care, banking advisor, assistant branch manager, and right now he is working as a branch manager. He graduated from Concordia University, bachelor in HR, Human Resources Management. He is a multiple RBC performance winner, Cohen Brown certified and trained in business agility. He's committed to create opportunities for their employees to thrive through advocating and leaning into diversity and inclusion. He's passionate about giving back to the community through volunteering with the Mennonite New Life Center, Spurt Hayward Center, GDRF, and RBC Race for the Kids. So thank you so much, Francois, for being here today. I am passing the mic to you.
There we go. So good day, everyone. Thank you so much, Victoria, for that amazing introduction. So welcome to everybody. So as a branch manager, I just want to go to the next slide and provide you with basically the website. So I did put in the chat, rbc.com is basically the direct link that you could go on website, and at the top right hand corner of the web page you'll see careers, which will bring you to that top link. So there's a way to go directly, or if not, you go through rbc.com. So what's nice is that you can create your own profile within RBC, load your cover letter and resume. Within that, you can also choose your preference of what type of work that you like and so forth. So very easy. I would recommend to everybody to do this. Naturally, this website's for also people working for RBC for their career path, which is very important for all of us, basically, which is to make sure that even though you came at a base level job, like it should be at the branch level, for example, a client advisor, it's base level, but they do more than just doing transaction. They have in mind to have a career path. We're there to support them accordingly, and they can do and verify for themselves what they can do going forward. For students and graduate, we also have a link. That's why that all students, graduate can explore the path. So going to the next slide. I copy paste. I forgot to put a bit of information here, but I just want to make sure that I'm just going to get it. So the first, if we go from the left to the right, it's basically what is RBC. So our story is basically the passion that we have to help people to drive and shape the well-being of our clients and our communities. One thing that I've learned here at my new branch is that as soon as we can open up a little bit, I want to go for a walk and I'm going to go see the different businesses that they deal with RBC or not, just to say how they're doing, how they went throughout COVID, because it was very difficult for everybody. We embrace diversity at work, which is basically know and how valuable every one of us is. You know, there's too often in the old days that it was not diverse enough, and we can learn from each other. I'm French Canadian, and I married Lebanese. I've worked with Indian, Bangladesh, Chinese, Korean, and the worth of knowledge that you can gather from just having a chat with everybody. For me, I embrace and I love. So just to know, RBC has that value of being there for diversity and inclusion for everyone, and it's very serious about that. What we do care, as per the last picture, as you see, is that we do create people awards. We like to recognize the successes of our employees, the energy they put in, because at RBC, my point of view is that we're a family. We spend a lot of time together, and each and every one is very important. So we have to celebrate each of our success. So this is kind of what I want to do, is to show everyone a view. I'm just going to remove my chat here. So a view of yesterday. I want to have a slide, and I send my slides to Victoria, God bless her, just to have a general idea how many positions there is at RBC. There's 1,900 positions available. And you can see that you can refine your search by category, subcategory, platform, career level, job titles, country, because it's not only Canada, by the way. And you can choose, for example, the state or the province. So for me, if I don't mistake, within the next slide, you'll see that in Toronto, there's 486 positions available. So Toronto is very large by itself. And if, for example, you choose Ontario and then choose cities, it'll show you Mississauga, Brampton, all the different cities where positions are available. By clicking on, for example, on the title, it will bring you to the description of what's needed and so forth. So I think the next slide, for example, being in retail banking, for sure, we're always looking for client advisors or banking advisor role. So what's nice within the posting is that you'll have who is the recruiter. You'll have also who is the hiring manager. So you could be curious and do search on LinkedIn and learn more about them if you want. From there, it will tell you basically what would be your job, what we would need to do. So as a banking advisor, you can see that basically being proactively engaged with clients, because how can you learn about a client without being engaged with them and understanding what their goals, what they're looking for, or what their needs are? And actually, what they'll specify what you need so to succeed. So for example, for a banking advisor, having your mutual fund accreditation is of the utmost importance, because we have to talk about investments, mutual funds, and guaranteed investment certificates. But the mutual funds, we need to be licensed because it's regulated by the Mutual Fund Dealer Association. Just to in perspective is that you have to understand that regardless of the role that you take, you know that you'll be trained. So for client advisors, they have modified the training. The basic training is 6 weeks, but throughout up to 4 months, there'll be additional courses that you can take. Naturally, there's mentorship that within the branch, other client advisor will be there to support you and help you when you're actually meeting with clients. The same thing goes with banking advisors, where as a branch manager, I will be more involved. If I have an assistant branch manager, we'll be involved together for you to basically set you up for success. That's what our goal at RBC. Moving to the next slide, I think I have, what are RBC's values? I'm going to be very honest with everyone here. All banks are good. We all make mistakes though. We're not perfect. But there's a reason RBC is the best or the biggest bank in Canada. The reason being is that we do things differently and we do things better. If not, we wouldn't be here. Again, for employees and for our clients, we have our values, which is basically having our clients being first, collaborate with each and everyone or with each other, be accountable for what we do. Accountability is of the most importance. Again, you see here that diversity and inclusion is extremely important. And you see there's a small link there within diversity and inclusion. If you go on the website, it will give you more information. And then we have to have our integrity. Integrity is we hold ourselves to higher standards to build trust. We hold ourselves to be respectful and do what's right for the client and for colleagues, and when we work in partnership with our partners. RBC has a wealth of positions where you can start as a client advisor, move up to a banking advisor role. If you like the financial world, that's what you want to do. If you start having more complicated application or credit, that you have more knowledge, we will be promoting you to a financial advisor. But from a financial advisor's, everything is possible. If you like to the business world, you could go as a business account manager that will lead you at one point in time to the commercial world. If not, you love credit, you love having clients and supporting clients and help them with everything that they can to purchase a house. So you could be a mortgage specialist. My strong suit is investments. I decided to be a manager, but I could have gone as a financial planner. I could have gone as a what we call mobile financial planner. But a financial planner is someone that will take care of your credits, investments needs, and through the different life stages that you have to support you. You're getting married. You're going to school, you're getting married, you're purchasing a house, your first baby, everything. That's what a relationship manager is, and that's what the financial planner will do for you. If you want management, management is an opportunity that can be offered to you. The more you know about retail banking, the more you can help. There's also other opportunities within what we don't see at the branch level, which could be operations for personal accounts or credit cards, or it could be business or commercial. These fields are how can we make sure to create programs and help clients better, and for us at the branch level to deliver on what can be offered to our clients. So on that, I have not taken a lot of time, but I still have 7 minutes. But I just want to say that diversity, when I was talking about the link, and thank you, Victoria, is that we've taken courses here because RBC believes in for us to understand what the indigenous people went through. And I do apologize for my pronunciation. I was kind of under the weather. My voice is not fully there, but indigenous people, I was brought up as a French Canadian that we conquered the country and they live in reserve and nothing, but we don't know any more than that. I've learned so much about all the suffering and all what they went through that I can relate and being there for them and support them. My views concerning also the Black community, Black Lives Matters, how people of color are mistreated or people of different origins. I was like, to the respect of my parents, I was not brought up this way, but my views are I didn't know about all that scenario. But now with RBC, they do encourage to learn. The gay community, transgenders community, how to work with them and respect them for who they are. We're all human beings at the end of the day. We had one of our senior managers that actually was a man. And this is out of this world to see that. Again, the fact of women being in the workforce and being as valuable as men. I truly believe in that, and that's what RBC stands for. So again, just want to say, I don't know if I have another slides because I'm losing my voice, Victoria, and I'm running out of time.
No.
Feel free to. No more slides.
Take a breath, Francois. Thank you so much for your presentation. Because I would like to ask a question inspired by some conversation and questions in the chat. So my question is, what if there is a very enthusiastic candidate who speaks French, who speaks English, who would like to get a customer service job at RBC, but this person doesn't have relevant or very little experience? What would you advise for those applicants?
So for those applicants, if they don't have any knowledge about the financial world, the client advisor role would be, I think, ideal. Because the client advisor role, it's no longer saying, I'm making a deposit, I'm paying a check. They're there also to provide advice and discover what we can offer their clients. So they'll learn about the financial world from that point on. From there, they can grow to decide to go a banking advisor if that's what they like, and move on and learn even more things to be actually one-on-one with a client and really go in depth, because at the counter, you cannot go in depth in having a conversation, knowing what their goals, where they're looking for, what are they going through? How can we support that? As a banking advisor, they're able to have that. And from that point on, there's so many other opportunities within RBC, which I feel gives you a chance to touch everything and your knowledge. I hope I answered that correctly. I hope. But not to be afraid to apply. And if they need advice, I am on LinkedIn. I promised myself to be more active on LinkedIn, which I said in March, I'm going to try to do this. Being a single leader is taking a lot of time. But guys, if you want to reach out to me, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions and being there for you.
Thank you so much, Francois. Karen is asking what qualifications do we need? I guess it would be a bit depending on the job, but what is like the most common qualification?
So if I talk about retail banking, qualification-wise is to be able to, I think if we move back to the slide of the banking advisors, it's pretty much the same criteria we're looking at as a client advisors, to be engaged, to want to help clients, to be able to think outside the box, to be a good problem solver, because sometimes clients will come to you and they'll verbalize it a certain way. You have to be a good listener as well, because you listen to what they say and then you can rebuttal by rephrasing what they verbalize to make sure you understood and then help them moving forward. So the qualification is just wanting to help, being there, being present, being a good listener. I think if you were in the service industry in restaurants, for example, you would be an amazing candidate. We hired a lot of people from Starbucks, Tim Hortons, McDonald's, because they're there to help the clients provide a service and try to help them as best as they can and be polite. That's basically the best. If I won't say so more. I'm losing my voice.
Okay, so I would like to encourage you, Francois, as you're losing your voice, to after your session, just take a look at the chat function. We have a participant who has 15 years banking experience in Africa. So we have some qualified candidates in the chat.
And we are hiring for banking advisor, client advisors. Francois.desrosiers@rbc.com. Send me your resume, my friend. I'll help you.
Oh, it sounds great. Thank you so much, Francois. And I would like to thank you for the amazing presentation and all the information, and move on to our next presenter of the day.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was really great being here with all of those nice presenters, and thank you again.
Thank you, Francois. The now I can also not speak anymore. The pleasure is all ours. But I will try my best to introduce Alexandra Rodriguez Escobar, the Bridging Programs Manager at the Mennonite New Life Center. Alexandra is the Bridging Program Manager. She enjoys supporting internationally trained professionals, and under her leadership, the bridging programs continue to flourish at the MNLCT. As an immigrant from Colombia, Alexandra brings her lived experience and bilingual, bicultural perspective to her work. Over the past 8 years, Alexandra has supported newcomers to Canada. She is interested in social services, human psychology, music, dancing, and supporting others, especially immigrants like herself. Diversity and equality are some of the things she loves most about Canada. Trained as a community support worker, she will soon finish her studies in the behavioral science field. So Alexandra, the stage is yours. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Victoria. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here in such an amazing event with so many participants and people really interested in finding good employment opportunities. And we have so many good employers as well. All right. So again, my name is Alexandra. I am in charge. I am responsible for the bridging programs here at the Mennonite New Life Center. And today, my intention is to share a little bit of what is a bridge training program, first of all, right? And then I will be sharing a little bit more of what are the programs that we offer here at the center. A bridge training program, this might be kind of a new concept for some of us. So when we talk about what is a bridge training program, is an employment program that will help people who obtain education and experience outside Canada to use those skills and the knowledge that they already bring, even the education that they already bring, and we'll translate it into the Canadian context. So how do I use that experience, knowledge, education that I'm bringing? How do I use it in this new context, in this new place? So our mission in the bridging programs is to help you go through that transition. Be prepared to work here in Canada, in this case, specifically in the province of Ontario. So we'd like to say, to understand a little bit more of what a bridging program is we'd like to say that we have a library in our brains. So before immigration, because as Victoria mentioned, I am an immigrant myself, so this is for all of us. Before immigration, we had in our brains kind of a beautiful library with different books, different shelves, and a lot of information, right? So things like language, culture, education, experience were very normal for us. We were very familiar with those. It was whatever we were seeing around us was normal, right? We learned the language easier from the environment. We understood the culture because we grew up there. We were able to obtain our education. And then eventually we got to the work experience and, we had some employment opportunities. And that's before we migrate to a new place. So we have this, this library, and it looks, really nice. It's kind of complete. Some gaps here and there, but overall, it's full. So what happens after we migrate to a new place? Well, we still have the same books. We still have the same shelves, information in our library. It's this is related to what we were discussing in the chat, right? Like I have experience from outside Canada. I do have some skills, but then how do I show this to the employers here? How do I highlight this in this new place when maybe employers don't know much about me and my actual experience and my previous practice? So we identify that as immigrants, we bring all of this knowledge, but there are still some gaps because we are in this new place, in this new context. And then we may encounter some challenges, right? So maybe language is one of those. Maybe we don't speak English, at least at a professional level, at the required level to find the ideal job. And then we are immersed in a new culture. So what happens in this new place, right? The unwritten rules. So maybe we don't have a good understanding of those rules. And Canada is such a diverse place that is not just about the Canadian culture, but it's about, different cultures from people all over the globe. And then we talk about education, and maybe the education that we obtain outside Canada, maybe it's not as relevant here, or maybe it's not compared with Canadian education. And then our degrees, our education, all the training that we obtain then might not have the same value as it used to have back home. And finally, we have the work experience, right? So when we talk about experience, we talk about having the opportunity. I don't have the experience. How do I get the experience if nobody gives me the opportunity, right? So we have identified those gaps for immigrants. And that's when the bridging programs get into the picture and can help people here. So what we aim to do with different bridging programs, and this is not only for the programs that we have here at the Mennonite New Life Center, but also many other programs that exist, bridging programs that exist for other professions. What we really want to do is, we really want to teach you about culture and communication, professional currency, regardless of what your career is, or what your career pathway is. We want to teach you new useful skills that will prepare you for the actual job. We want to actually offer you work experience, work exposure. We really want to help you overcome that obstacle of not having experience. So that's one of the things that we focus on here in Bridging. We want to help you with networking, with job search. We want you to have more personal support, people around you, and network people that can actually, support you in your personal life, but also in your professional life. And lastly, professional language, because it's highly needed, right? You want to make sure that you can communicate with others at a professional level and that you're able to perform well in your role, in your position. Okay, next please. All right. So here at the center, we offer 4 bridging programs, and you can see them all here in this slide. But the first one is called BEMC, and okay, let's go one by one. That's good. We can go to the next one. It's fine. Thank you. So the first one is actually BEMC. So this bridging program is for people who have work experience in media and communications. And the idea of this program is to support people with the specific backgrounds related to communications, marketing, journalism, design, public relations, videography, photography, some people who have been in the field of media and communications outside Canada. This is the right program. And then why do we have this program? Well, because participants will get an understanding of the Canadian media landscape and will be prepared to find a job in the field. This, we also offer in BEMC in particular, we offer 2 courses in partnership with Seneca College. So at the end, participants will be able to get the certificate from for the 2 courses from Seneca College. This particular program lasts 4 months for in-class training, and then we have 2 more months for placement. So as I mentioned before, we are aiming to help you obtain some Canadian experience, some workplace exposure. And finally, the fees are $800, and this is mainly for the Seneca courses, or directly goes to the Seneca courses, but also some financial support might be available based on family income. And I will use this same structure that I have here. I will use for the other 3 programs so I can be, concise, because we don't have much time. But I could too stay here and talk for hours about all these programs. All right, thank you. So the next one is called BESIP, and this one is specifically designed for people who are interested in working in the community and social service sector. The idea of this program is that we have immigrants serving immigrants, and of course serving the local community as well. So this program helps people with a background in human services reach to the social and community service sector here in Canada. Participants will use transferable skills. We're talking about that in the chat. And once you have those, you are aware of the transferable skills that you have, and you do the training with BESIP, then you will be prepared to serve clients in this sector that is, that is very wide, and there are a lot of job opportunities in this social or community service sector. This particular program lasts 4 months in training as well. And then we offer 2 months of placement. That one is optional. You could also do capstone, which is a different kind of exposure to a workplace. So there are two options actually. And then the fees for this one are $400, and there's financial support as well that might be available based on your family income. That's actually for all programs. Okay, thank you. All right, now we have BREM. BREM is a bridging program for people in the mental health field, and people who are interested in becoming registered psychotherapists. So in this case, of course, this is applicable for the province of Ontario. We help people get the registration here as psychotherapists. And this particular program offers two streams. So one will prepare people to work in the mental health field, and the other one will help people to get ready to find a job in the mental health field. But more than that, people can get registration as psychotherapists. And why would you like to join this particular program? Well, because participants will get a clear understanding of the mental health system and will be prepared to work in the field serving vulnerable clients. So it doesn't matter if it's, because as I mentioned, we have two streams. It doesn't matter if it's mental health in general or if it's specific with psychotherapy, you will be able to support your clients and offer mental health services. This particular program, it's a bit longer because the outcome is different, and will last between 10 to 12 months, depending on the stream. And this one will include placement, regardless of what's your stream of choice. And the fees for this one, because it's a bit longer and we offer registration with a regulatory body, then the fees are $500 for employment stream, which is shorter, and then $2,600 for the registration stream, because again, it would be, you'll be with us for a longer period of time. You will be taking additional classes and different components that you require for your registration. And for this one too, financial support might be available if you have a low income. All right, and then the last one here we have is See Women. See Women is a new program, and this one is, I'll say it's kind of special, and it's connected to with what Francois was mentioning about, having women, helping women feel more empowered and giving them new opportunities. So See Women is an innovative program for immigrants who identify themselves as women from any professional background who want to begin a new career. So this one actually doesn't take you from what you used to do to this new career, but well, that too, if you were doing IT, you could still do IT, but if you were doing something completely different, but you now want to do and work in the IT sector, then, and of course you're a woman, this is the right program for you. We have different streams based on your career goals, but what we do is IT, so information technology and coding. That's what we offer in this program for women. So here, women are trained to look for employment opportunities that are in high demand and high paying profession. So IT, we all know that it's growing very quickly right now. Nowadays, everything is related to technology. No matter what size a business is, small businesses, big companies, everybody needs IT support. So we want to actually bring women to these new places and bring new opportunities for them. Of course, we want to break down those barriers. This particular program lasts 7 months with an option of doing placement. So still we offer that opportunity, but it's optional. And lastly, the fees for this particular program are between $500 and $12,000, depending on the stream. So we have, there are different options. There is a variety of services that we offer. And we don't want money to be an obstacle, a barrier for people to join this specific program, and more than that, just to find a job in the field. So we offer plenty of options in this particular program. All right. Okay, so that was a very quick summary of what we do here in the Bridging programs. But if you are interested, or you feel that someone might be interested, then we have intakes for winter and fall. So we are actually starting our upcoming cohorts on March 28th. That's by the end of the month, in a couple of weeks, but we are still receiving applications. in particular for the human services program, for the IT program, and the media and communication program. As of now, we are not accepting applications. I mean, yes, we are for the mental health program, but for the fall, because the classes already started. So here is the link, but I think the information is being shared in the chat as well. So apply today in our website. You can go to the MNLCT website and find bridging programs, or you can also contact us at bridging@mnlct.org. Okay, we would love to see some of you in our different programs. There are different options, you know, for different backgrounds. So feel free to reach out to us. And if you are not sure if you'll qualify or not, just send us a quick email or give us a call, and then we'll answer your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alexandra, for the presentation. I think you showed 4 very different and very interesting alternatives for people. Okay, someone says that I applied and submitted my documents in the app, but I haven't received a reply for an interview. So that might consider the bridging program.
Well, we are currently reviewing the application. So soon, if you already submitted your documents, very soon you'll hear from us. We are in that process of reviewing all the documents that we are receiving. Thank you.
Okay, and I see one more question. My sister has journalism studies and background, but she is in grade 3/4 of English YMCA assessment. Will she be able to contact with you for further studies, or the first program you mentioned?
So 2 things there, right? So most likely, yes, she will be eligible for the media and communication program. We'll be happy to have her there. The minimum requirement for language skills is 7 for that assessment done by YMCA. So what we can do is we here at the center, we offer link classes, and we have different levels. So by all means, you can register with them in our link classes, and then you can do the transfer, or she could do the transfer to the bridging program. So once she works with the center, then the transfer and the application process will be easier in this case.
Thank you, Alexandra. And there is one last question. Is the IT bridging program only for women, or men can also apply?
This particular program is only for women. The other programs are open to all genders, but this particular program, people who identify themselves as women.
Thank you. Okay, the last question, because we have to close.
Yes.
So there is a question if there is a bridging program in healthcare sector.
Healthcare is you know, very wide too. So I know that there are specific programs, not, you know, so people may want to be working exactly in the same role and position that they had in the past. That is a longer journey, but I encourage you to go to the website of the ministry and search, or even in Google, you can search bridging programs in Ontario, and then you will see a list of programs for the different professions. You may see if you identify with any of those.
And actually, one of our partners, we are working very closely with Learning Enrichment Foundation, and I know that they do have bridging programs in healthcare, so you can just check out their website.
Perfect.
So thank you so much, Alexandra, for your presentation. And that actually we reached the end of our very compact 2 hours together. I would like to thank again for all the presenters and panelists today, and also those colleagues who were very diligently supporting us from the background. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure. But before you all leave, I would like to summarize and wrap it up and say our commitments to you. So today we heard the TTC We learned about entrepreneurship opportunities. 3 different home care providers presented their job options. Ruth gave us tips and tricks about what to do and what not to do on interviews and job search tips. RBC introduced their opportunities. And last but not least, Alexandra was here with the bridging programs. And I also would like to encourage you to follow up with us. At this point, Nicole, please put our email, like website, email address, and phone number in the chat, because you might be interested in entrepreneurship opportunities. You might like to speak with the placement counselor like Ruth, or you might want to follow up with one of these bridging programs. So please reach out to us. We are happy to help. We are happy to offer our services. And I think this is it. I wish you all a very good afternoon. Take care, stay healthy, and I hope to see you on another event. Thank you so much. Thanks for the presenters and everyone. Bye.